There's still at least $40 million in gold buried right beneath my feet.
That's a lot, dude.
And I'm gambling my entire life savings and everything I've worked for just to find it. But if I can't make it work, I could lose everything. I'm Daniel Kramer, and this is my family.
It's so cool.
I just bought an abandoned gold mine.
Deep in one of the most remote parts of California. It's been mined by our family for 4 generations. Now it's our turn.
We're gonna find some gold today.
That's a piece of gold.
Okay.
I've never mined before,
Whoa, there's a bat. Look at that.
but I'm a geophysicist. You could do a 3D rendering of kind of where the gravel is. With science, my family, and a little luck,
Oh shoot.
we're going to find the gold and finish the story.
That right there
got a lot of
is
color.
gold.
This is our farm in Lodi, California. We own a vineyard and I run my geophysics business from here with my wife and the 3 kids. My mom, my dad, they all live next door. But today is day 0 for our new project. We're gonna reopen the Kramer family gold mine.
We're gonna hit the road now and it's time to go towards the mine. It's a big expedition that we're going on because we're hauling so much stuff, and it'll be like this probably for a while until the mine's set up. But if we can get it set up, then we'd probably have a good chance of actually mining it this summer a little bit. And that would be awesome.
Got Gideon in the back. Got Allagash here. And we're ready.
The cat is pulling us.
From our farm in Lodi, it's a 6-hour drive to the town of Etna. And from there, it's another 3 hours on a 1-lane road through the Klamath Forest to the mine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I'm super excited that we're going up, all of us, because I've been like talking about this and like thinking about this and doing stuff for this for a really long time. Like Uncle Rick started talking about it with us, like how long ago, dude? Like, you remember how long?
Yeah, it was like
3 years ago, probably.
Yeah,
4 years ago. But really, it was weird because Uncle Rick died, and then I don't know. It's almost like we need to do it for him. I felt like, in a way.
And you can mine that whole damn bar on this side, which is about 3 or 4, 5 acres there.
yeah, it's a big
And I'll bet you could make some good money. And then just push the old spoil like we were taking away from it.
But now that we're actually like going up and doing stuff, I feel very positive that this is going to be a mine that opens up and that we will get like some serious gold.
Essentially, the mine is all the way down where I'm pointing, kind of in the lowest part. You know, we're at an elevation here, probably 5,000-6,000 feet. Yeah. By the time we get down to where the mine is, it's only 1,000 feet elevation. So the property here, you know, we got a lot of cleanup to do, obviously. And so we figure there's, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 of cleanup. You know, it's 26 acres of terrain that, you know, has some equipment on there. Obviously, to get that running again is going to take a lot of time and money. And you know, the plan is, you know, we'll start mining it, but first we got to get it operating as just a place where you can even live or work or do anything. You know, before you can get to doing the mining, you got to clean it up enough that you can even get there to do the work. So that's the plan. You know, my family's had it in the family for a long time. And the question is then, what do we do with it? You know, it's up for sale, you know, and so I've said I'd like to buy it so I can carry on the tradition and start mining it. And, you know, the whole family's agreed that's a good idea. Yeah, and you know, it's funny because it's like, why wouldn't somebody else mine it? But here we are in the state of California where we have, you know, iconic beauty and wonder. And again, I keep going back to this, you know, it's like its own country, but they have their own regulations. It's not like other places. It's not like Oregon where you can just do what you want. It's not like Idaho or Montana or these other places where mining is maybe more allowed, or a foreign country where there maybe aren't any regulations. Obviously, we're going to have to do a lot of work to get water permits and do the proper cleanup and the environmental. It's on one of the natural. There's only like 2 or 3 natural rivers in California that are undammed. This is one of them. So you've got to contend with, you know, all of that. But that's my specialty. That's what I do at Petrologics Engineering. We do a lot of that. So, I mean, I think that gives us a leg up. People will see that this place is different. It's steep. It's rugged. It's dangerous. It's mysterious. My grandpa lived his whole life here. My uncle was born up here and grew up as a kid here. My dad, their grandpa, you know, they came here in 1931. They came here even before that, but I mean, in 1931 they started mining. We're approaching 100 years of history for our family doing exactly what I'm planning to do. They started that in 1931. Maybe by 2031 we'll have hit the jackpot and become filthy rich with gold.
So we are on track. We didn't get much sleep. We're probably 5 hours of sleep. So it's a long, slow haul with a big, heavy tractor. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, so my dad's on the F350, and it seems like we lost the turbos. Like they're not spooling, so it doesn't have enough power to get up a lot of the hills. So we're basically limping it to the mine.
Something's not working on the truck. It's having a hard time powering up. Could be that the turbo's having issues. We don't really know yet, but it's definitely having some power issues. So not good.
The engine has no pressure, no power. Like this hill right here, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Got to use the momentum. Still too big of a trailer, and we're just barely able to get through.
So we're coming into the Kramer mine here, and you'll see right here my grandpa's name is on this rock. It still says Ed Kramer. Well, Grandpa Ed, this was his spot. We're going in. We'll see what kind of condition the place is right now. Yeah, some squatters were in here living and dropping crap and debris, and so one of the things I need to come and do in here is just kind of clean all of that up. I mean, yeah, it's a shame because it's just, you know, I mean, I get that people need a place to live, and I understand why you'd want to stay here, but with the problems they had, they just didn't really care for the land very much at all, and, you know, it's just a mess, basically. You know, it's beautiful otherwise, but yeah, they're not here now, and so as long as they stay away and we keep cleaning it up, then that'll be fine.
Okay. Just pulled into the mine, and we're just situating stuff because, again, we've got this trailer back there. We've got some more people coming to help us, and we need space.
There is still at least 15,000 ounces of gold sitting there in the ground.
I mean, this is just a gold catching bend. You know, there's no question about it. Anything from upstream and anything from here is just gonna kind of converge in this spot. And for years and years, material would have been going over the top of this ridge line until it filled up. And, you know, it's just been slowly depositing as it keeps, you know, going, and it's cutting in here. It keeps eroding into this side, keeps eroding into this side, but it keeps depositing right along our mine. So, you know, how many thousands of years has it been doing that? Many, 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 many thousands of years, so.
Okay, so this is the Long Point mine. Split in half by the Wild Salmon River. Got a broken down homestead, a few forgotten cabins, 26 acres of mine site across 2 parcels, with 9 to 10 acres that we want to mine. Scattered across the entire site are rusted relics. Some of them from my family, some of them from elsewhere, even including that 1970s wash plant. They mined all over, but only hit bedrock in a few spots, which means there could be tons of gold left right there for us to find.
Distinct geologic feature that comes down, and I don't know if this was faulted into place, you know, and it moved in one direction, but this ridge line is all bedrock, and on the other side is the river, so the river makes this huge turn right around this entire massive chunk of bedrock, basically. Yeah. And it's all hard stone, and so, you know, as the gold's going down and everything's eroding throughout all these creeks, there's a lot of different places that have gold. All the hard rock mines are up above us. And so, you know, we talked about a lot of these veins. As those erode out of the mountain, it all comes tumbling down and ends up basically like in this general vicinity. And because the way the geology is, just a massive quantity of material was deposited here that would have had gold in it. So in order for that gold to make it around the bend, it's a lot. So I think a lot of it really does collect here. And that's why it was such a prominent mine and such a high value mine.
Going. Drive forward a little bit. Going. Up. Up, drive forward a little bit. Forward. Gently.
Yeah, so this is the Long Point mine, and this is the basic entrance. You know, it's got this component right here on this side that's mostly like houses and stuff. You see all the gravels? These are all just river gravels that are natural. Yeah. You know, and when my grandpa started making this into the homestead, he kind of flattened some of it out and then put the trailers on it, and it was pretty nice. And then he dug this road with the dozer and brought it across the river. So that's what we're gonna do. Go down. This needs to be regraded. The river crossing needs to be redone, and then going up the other side also needs to be redone. There's the cable line going across. You can see it's high water. You know, when it's flowing high, it's, you know, probably as high as my chest, if not higher. So it's not passable in the winter when there's a big wet winter. But this is it. We just crossed. We can go. Probably the best way is to go right up there and then cross, and then. But normally the road would go right through here. So we obviously need to move a couple of the boulders that are in there and pass between those two, basically. It's definitely slippery. Yeah, this is where it's at. It's like when you're on the water here, there's not a prettier place. It's just big and open and awesome. And I just remember being here with my grandpa fishing, and I don't know, the first fish I ever caught was like right there on those rocks, and I was sitting there dangling a lure, and a fish swam into the lure. I swear I caught it in the head. It didn't even bite it. It was like a tiny minnow, but it was my first fish. So you know, a lot of this material is all mixed and jumbled still, and it hasn't been mined. So he came through and cut a road, you know, and you got bedrock right there, like pretty much diving straight down, and then all this material is just on top of it. Now the shape of the bedrock, not totally understood. As we go to that side, you see the bedrock's at the base of all this material. Could it dip back? Is it slanting? That's something that the geophysics could tell. Like if I just ran a line of geophysics right through here, a couple different methods, I'd probably be able to find out exactly where that contact is. Yeah, this is a pretty remarkable spot. So, I mean, this is what they've gone down. You know, somebody had done quite a bit of work. Grandpa was doing the dragline bucket, working his way across, but there's still, he kept a big chunk between here and the river. So, I mean, obviously a lot of that could still be mined. Well, I think there's some things that might be of interest. Is like, he didn't mine all the way down to the bottom. To me, we're approaching bedrock. Like, I would say one of the first things I would want to do is test this area with geophysics, see like, okay, how much farther do we really need to go? And should we start mining and continue mining down in this pit now? Not using a dragline bucket, but just using a loader, and see if we can get down to the right at the interface. Maybe there's some really rich deposit right there at that interface of the bedrock. So he never did that. I don't think, certainly nobody else has if he didn't. So that would be worth at least, you know, doing some test pits on and figuring out how far it is. But the proof's in the pudding. I mean, we're gonna know, like, take a big load of material, run it through, how much gold is in it. I mean, that's definitely gonna be the part that is telling. You know, the assessment work they did on the site, you know, yeah, it's fine to review that and look at that, but again, that's a theoretical kind of conceptual model of what should be here based on some geologic test pits and some samples. It's, you know, is that really the truth? We'll find out. But here's the equipment that he moved in here, which seems kind of impossible on the roads that we were driving. It almost feels like, you know, like how do you get this in here, and why wouldn't you keep using it if you could? You know, could you bring this thing back to life? Is there any way to use it? You know, maybe not. In any case, this is what he was using though to pull that bucket right there. So that's his dragline bucket. And if you look behind you there's a dragline bucket. And he would pull the material up, and he would take it, turn, drop it onto the grizzly that then would slide material into the back of the truck. He'd haul that over to the wash plant, load it in the wash plant. Northwest Chicago, Illinois. Everything comes from Chicago at some point or another. Yeah, that's the old cat. You know, could that ever be restored to work? Probably not, but I don't know, it was working when they parked it there. Now there's trees growing through it. Yeah, they just disconnected a lot of the cables. Still sure smells like an old diesel engine. Hey guys, quick note. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we need your help. We're gonna put everything that we have into this, and it's not gonna be easy. So if you hit that subscribe button and help us out, and some of you lucky subscribers might even get a nugget here or there, so just keep your eyes open. Yeah, so that pipe goes all the way in, you got the water coming in.
Sure, I mean the structure is certainly. I mean, put a new belt on it, get some new rollers, maybe grease them, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that, like, I have to think this is absolutely reusable. You know, the motor inside, I don't know, you know, the electric components, we can go look at it, see how that works, but you know, the difficulty of moving this in, right? I mean, it's here at least. You know, the things that you need to fix, that can be flown in or trucked in a lot easier than an entire wash plant. So yeah, this is definitely this is the most reusable thing on the site, I would guess. I'm just looking at it, thinking about all that material that's still there, and just thinking, you know, being here on the last day when they dropped that last load and that little bit of the rock still sitting there. And you know, if it were my grandpa, I'd think fondly of it, thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. I wonder what's in there, you know? Yeah. Thinking that it's also some other people that kind of junked it up and messed it up makes me a little bit pissed. Yeah, and I don't know if they messed everything up really, but you know, they just, you know, maybe they were trying to take as much as fast as they could, or maybe they just weren't good at it. You know, maybe they were decent people and they just didn't know what they were doing and they tried. But I'm pretty sure they got a lot out of here. And if my grandpa thought that they were kind of cheating him, then I'm pretty sure they were at that point. Ah, it's a beauty. Look at it. That's not old. That's perfect. We got this. Just gotta hook up a couple cords and push a button and we're ready to rock. No, but for real, this is. I know this thing's gonna start back up. No doubt about it. Just gonna take a little work. On the quick, if you were gonna, you know, rebuild the road, come across with some equipment, start working the pit, bring it out to the wash plant. It's not a long haul, you know, it's not totally short either, but you know, that might be a very quick way to do it, because for environmental purposes, you're not really disturbing a whole lot when you're still working in the pit. It already exists. So I know he was mining this, he was getting good pay, he's making good money on it. Again, same thing, one-man operation, you know, and I think about, like, if he was out here and he was also collecting gold, you know, maybe he didn't take all the gold from here. Maybe he did leave some treasure behind. You know, was there something that he left behind and buried? He had a heart attack, and yeah, it was just, you know, he had a few episodes leading up to that, but when he died, it was pretty quick. It was pretty unexpected. Yeah, and he was somebody that planned for the future. So in my mind, there is that possibility that there's some place out here where we can find something that's not just native gold, let's say. It could be a jar of gold, it could be a cup of gold, it could be something that, you know, we might be surprised by. I mean, it doesn't feel too huge to me. It feels like everything starts in baby steps. Step 1, you know, crossing. Step 2, you know, look at the geology and the geophysics. Step 3, start doing test pitting. Step 4, make sure the wash plant's working right so I'm not losing gold, so I know that actually what's coming out of the ground is what, you know, what's there. I'm capturing it. Yeah. You know, step 6, make the pit bigger. Step 7, get the gold.
Yeah. Nice. There she blows.
So yeah, we come in here. Oh yeah, I mean, I remember all kinds of stuff in here, from listening to my grandma and grandpa talk in the morning. My grandma would smoke her cigarettes. playing cards, eating trout. Back then it was all pretty new. Now it's pretty run down. Yeah, watch your step. Yeah, it's a little bit torn up, so it'll be definitely a fun project to get this back in order. But yeah, maybe a little bit of both, to be honest. Like definitely some squatting, but then when the animals take over, there's all kinds of things from skunks to civet cats to bears and rats, and But it's actually, it doesn't smell like that bad in here, so I don't think a lot of animals are living in here right now. Yeah, so I'd pretty much just rip out all this stuff, frame it up, and put a new interior in it. A lot of work to do. Nah, it's not too much work though. When you look at it, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff like this is rotten, sure, but I mean the bones are there still, So some of them were just storage. So like my grandpa Ed he built this one, and it was like, I always remember there being like chainsaws and mining equipment and stuff, and then he brought that in, that military building that's down there, like a little storage container. Same kind of thing, just all pieces of old equipment and stuff, garbage. Yeah, more freeloader stuff that people had when they came in here and were just living. But I love this kind of stuff, where you can see the saw marks. Most of this stuff was all milled, and he may have milled a lot of it. Certainly somebody local did. Yeah, just all trashed out. I don't know what was going on here with all these barrels. He's kind of appeared one day, like in the last couple of years, I feel like. So.
The family legend is that Grandpa Ed buried gold all over the property, but he passed away before he could tell anyone. If we could find it, it's gonna help pay for all of this.
I mean, if it were me, if I was gonna hide gold here, thinking in the frame of reference of somebody like my grandpa, I'd probably want to hide it in a place that's pretty close by, that somebody wouldn't accidentally stumble across, right? You don't want to like put it under a rock that somebody kicks over. So it's on your property, but it's not in like an obvious spot, like a safe. It's not necessarily in a shack. It's not in a shoe. Maybe it's in a jar. Maybe it's buried under a big rock. You have to be able to identify. You can't just put it out here and all these rocks looks the same. So, looking for something that's a little bit different, but also the same. If I were doing that, I'd pick something on the hillside, maybe above the cabin, where it's easy to access. You get up to it, you get down. Nobody can really see you if you know what you're doing. So probably something like one of these bigger rocks that's maybe partially movable and kind of obvious. So I'd be looking for something like maybe a big stone like that, where you don't accidentally do it. That kind of a rock sticks out to me, like a pile of rocks, like a gravestone almost, like that, It's a little bit different. I mean, it's just kind of funny, he had enough gold as like a teenager from finding coarse gold to buy a brand new car back in the Depression. Okay, that says something about the kind of gold. He had gold coins that he would give to people as gifts for fun. I mean, if you're giving away gold coins back when it was only worth a little bit, and he had lots of it laying around, enough to make him, a rich hermit, it's gotta be around. There's gotta be some of it around here. Every rusty nail might look like something valuable until you dig it up and just find out that it's an old rusty nail. But on a hillside like this, where it'd be easy to hide, it's protected, it might be worth coming through here with like a metal detector. So worth looking for. That's a funny stone, Doesn't quite fit. Not from here.
You know, it's like, where do people hide stuff? So like the Donner Party, you know, that's a classic American story of people that ended up eating each other and the whole thing. But it was like coming over the Sierra Nevada, trying to make it, they get stuck. Well, there were certain party members that had wagons. They had wealth. Some of the people in the party had wealth. Of course, that did nothing for you when you're stuck in the snow dying of starvation, but they had gold coins and they had all kinds of stuff hidden in weird spots, in a table leg, in the side of a wheel, things like that, that only a couple people knew about. And they ended up going back and looking for it based on some of the records and the talks, and people researched it enough to realize there might be some there, and they went back actually after many years and they found it. If we can restore the mine, we will find gold. It's like there is not a minute, there is not a second to wait. I waited too long and my uncle is now gone. I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night until I know where I came from and why they did it. I think I need to do this in order to like satisfy a deeper purpose for myself. And it's like, I don't need the government to help me, and I don't need these other people to help me. I need my family, and like, we can do a lot if we work together.
We gotta get across that.